Hi, I'm Madeline and I'm a digital artist. I mostly do fan art, setups, and commissions. But in this video, I'm gonna pretend I'm a noob artist and then surprise them with a good drawing. At least I hope so. I use TTZevo's Discord server because it has channel for free offers. I also don't use any side accounts. I don't have any social media, so I'm sure no one knows about me anyway. Now I'm typing that I'm a noob artist after an oblog and that I want to practice drawing different characters. It didn't take too long and I got like 5 requests. Each OC was super pretty and that's the reason why it was so hard to choose only 3 of them. However, there was only one thing that I didn't like, and it was that almost all of them were female characters. And I don't draw girls often, so it was a bit tough for me, especially with the last drawing. As you can see, we're starting with this super cute girl. I was so excited that I couldn't decide which pose to draw, but then I just went with quite an easy one. One of the reasons behind this is actually her clothes. I assume she wears some traditional Chinese clothes that looks really beautiful on her and I enjoyed drawing it. But I couldn't understand where this white belt was supposed to be. Like, is it supposed to be on the waist, and chest, or maybe right under the chest? I checked some references on Pinterest and there were different versions of this belt, so I just drew the one that I thought was on the character. I always color my sketches as it helps me visualize how the finished art will look. After applying the base colors, I decide on a light source so I know where to place my shadows. I skipped the line art this time since the art is quite simple, the pose is very easy and the character doesn't have a complicated design. Also, I wanted to give the drawing a soft look and line art would make it feel a bit edgy. Now I proceed to render. Most of the time I fill the whole art in one color, usually it's a skin color, and then I use my favorite brush that has lower density and fill the parts of the art. And because the density is lowered, you can still see the hint of the skin color underneath, and it makes the drawing look more balanced. In my opinion, similar to using multiply layer where you use one color to connect the whole drawing. It's quite hard to explain how I use layers. It varies all the time because I'm still a beginner artist. Sometimes I use just one layer for the entire artboard, but when I add or change something that can potentially ruin the art, I duplicate the layer and draw on the new one. Alternatively, I often use different layers and then merge them into one for easier corrections. Working with the colors was the best part for me. Teal is one of my favorite colors, so I enjoy drawing in different shades of it. Now I'm moving on to the clothes. I first clean up the sketch and then draw over it. After that, I correct the body using the liquify tool and then the remaining details of the clothes. I flipped the canvas so many times while working on this piece that it was painful to watch the speed paint until I cut out most of the flips. It took me way more time than I expected. I also rotate the canvas pretty frequently, so it's sometimes hard to understand what I'm doing. In the future, I'll try to avoid these moments. Recently, I've been into drawing thick eyelashes. Sometimes I get a bit carried away and overdo them, but this time I managed to stop myself. There is something really relaxing about drawing each lash separately. The flower-shaped blinks in her eyes are so cute. After finishing those, I started working on the lower lashes and the overall look of the eyes. Guys, I also wanted to tell you that I'm currently working on another video. In the video I'm making right now, I'm gonna be fixing Colleen's art. She started a Fix My Art challenge a few months ago, and I wanted to participate back then, but I felt too scared. Recently, however, she mentioned the challenge again and I'm eager to give it a try. So stay tuned for that video, it's actually almost done. To do that, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. It'd be a huge help for me and I'd really appreciate it. It's now time for the hair accessories. Since they're white, I had to color the canvas, As always, I used the lasso tool along with the liquify tool to make corrections. The thing that I liked the most in the design was probably her hair. It was the first time I drawn a hairstyle like this. I've only seen it a couple of times on some K-pop idols, mostly on the youngest members, but I didn't have a chance to draw it. The accessories on her hair are also so cute, they make the silhouette of the character pretty unique in my opinion. We are already in the last stage of the art. I use yellow for the light and then adjust the layer settings. I also like to blur some parts of the light for a more natural look. Finally, I use a slightly orange color to outline the light. I just like how it looks. Sometimes I add not just orange but also yellow, red and other colors. However, this time I decided to limit the color palette. Adding the final details and we're done. To draw on a version, I used a brush with no stabilization to make the shaky lines. I also tried to use some grayish colors, especially for the skin. And this is how the drawings turned out. Finally, it's time for the most interesting part. First, we're gonna send the new version.
I tried my best because I really like the first one.
I didn't have to wait at all. They replied really fast.
Wow, so cutie. I love it. Thank you so much.
They still liked the drawing and I was so happy about that. I can also agree that this new version looks pretty cute. And now we're sending the real version.
Oh my god, you even made a second one, and it's bomb. Oh, I love you.
They're so sweet. As I mentioned before, I mostly do a man, and the only male character I was sent was this one. He had the best reference out of all the characters. Even his personality was described in the character sheet, what helped me to choose pose and facial expression for him. I felt like the so-called flower pose would suit him the best, and sure it did. I decided to do a line art this time because the sketch was too messy. Even though I do line art sometimes, I later paint over it so I don't try too hard to make each line perfect. One noticeable detail in his design is that he only has one ear and a ponytail on the other side. I had completely forgotten about these things and only added them in the last stages. To be honest, I love drawing hands. Sure, it can be challenging, but there's something so satisfying about the process. I prefer using a flexible brush for the liner and sketches, ensuring it can transition between thick and thin lines depending on the pressure. I need it because I purposely make some lines thicker and others thinner to create a more dimensional effect. For example, I use slightly thicker lines in areas where they're supposed to be shadows. His hair is really unique and the hardest part for me was to color it. Every reference of him had a different hair color. I couldn't decide which one I should draw, so I just drew the one that was on his chibi version. Lately, I've also gotten into drawing eyes, especially the eyelashes. You can notice that I draw each lash separately and slightly alter the main color for each one. I don't use the multiply mode to draw shadows. Instead, I choose the same color as the skin, shift it slightly towards blue, and then pick a darker shade. I avoid the multiply layer because I have a habit of using an eyedropper. And when you use multiply layer, you can't do that because the colors turn out different. I do use blending modes for the light though. He also has a small braid and a flower accessory on his hair, and I just noticed that I didn't draw the braid, which is my mistake. Editing the light makes the art look so much better. I also didn't record it, but I finished the art sometime later. This time I did the same thing I did with the first drawing. I also drew Jenny's 90-degree shoulders to make it a bit funny. Comment below which version you like more. Okay, now I'm sending the new version.
Here, hope you like it. Ah, it's so good, I love it, thanks.
Okay, it's time for the second version.
Oh my god, he looks so good. So cute.
I like seeing how they are polite for the both drawings, but they express so much more emotions when they see the real drawing. This art was probably the hardest one for me to draw. It might be because I had high expectations for the last drawing and I wanted to do my best. I couldn't finish this art for days. I didn't like anything about it. The static pose, the clothes I couldn't figure out, nor the long hair. And all of this because I haven't drawn girls for a while. But then again, it turned out a bit better than I expected. I've noticed that I always make small sketches and then enlarge them so they cover the whole canvas. I wanted to somehow play off the cookie she had in her hand. I probably did over 5 sketches of her and even colored some of them, but I couldn't bring myself to finish any of them. I also forgot about the hand that was in the sketch, which made the art look even simpler. I couldn't figure out the details of the clothes because the reference was quite messy, so I asked the person who sent me this OC if they had any other references of their character so I could make the drawing more accurate. They said they didn't have any other references and that I could choose any outfit that I thought would suit her. All 3 characters had something interesting going on with their hair, which makes them stand out more. Besides that, I like that this OC had memorable details like the eyes and the earring. Even though I do a completely different outfit, it's still recognizable that it is this exact character. Though it varies for different brushes, generally it's more satisfying to use a flexible brush that requires minimal size adjustments during the work. This type of brush creates thicker lines where needed, particularly when making curved lines. My brush also has low minimal density, which aids in overlaying lines, giving some parts a darker appearance while others appear lighter. I thought I was pretty confident in my English, at least people would understand me when I spoke the language. However, during the voiceover, I suddenly became unsure about every word in the script. I found myself checking most pronunciations in the Cambridge dictionary and repeating them multiple times. I had been recording the same sentence at least 5 times just to make sure it sounded okay. Then I realized that it wasn't enough and that I needed more audio to make the video interesting for you guys. Otherwise, it would just be a speed paint with some music in the background. So I completed the second script, but unfortunately I got sick right when it was the time for the voiceover. Despite that, I tried to record, but my voice sounded too nasal for my liking. So I decided to wait until I felt better to do the voiceover. In the meantime, I dove into creating a new video. And spoiler, the video is about Colleen. Once I was back to normal, I tackled the voiceover for the second script. As always, I made sure to check plenty of words in the Cambridge dictionary to avoid any mistakes. I knew I would still have some errors, but I really wanted to give it my all. That part of me that refuses to settle until I've done my very best kept me on my toes throughout the entire process of making this video. After finishing the second voiceover, I felt like the video still lacked something, so I decided to add more content to keep it interesting. That's when I began writing the third script. Now I'm finally in the midst of the voiceover for that one, and I sincerely hope it'll be the final version and I'll be confident enough to post it. I'm feeling a bit unsure about everything I made in this video, and it takes me so much confidence to upload it. Since I'm still new to video editing, I'm unsure which parts of the speed paint should be cut and which should be kept. Watching me draw eyes for 5 minutes straight might become boring, but I'm trying not to be too hard on myself as I'm still a beginner. Please let me know in the comments which parts of the speed paint you think are necessary. I'll make sure not to include them in my next videos. As I said, I like this drawing the least. It's been a while since I made it and there are things I'm not satisfied with. For example, I find the shoulders look too angular for my style. Overall, the drawing feels a bit stiff to me. It might be that the line art makes it look this way, not sure about this. The video was made quite some time ago because I was nervous about doing the voiceover. Clearly, English isn't my first language and I'm a bit shy about my accent and vocabulary, which made it so challenging for me, especially since I'm a really introverted person. However, I've gained some courage and have finally decided to do it. If you watched this video till the very end, maybe you liked it, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. By doing so, you'll also help me achieve my goal of becoming a full-time YouTuber. Back to the speed paint. You can see that I added some light blue highlights to the hair. I simply wasn't satisfied with everything being too pink and blurry, so I wanted to add at least one more color. As usual, I needed to decide on a light source. This time I chose the one from the back, since my two previous drawings had the side and the top light sources. Even though I like the real version of this character the least, the new version is pure gold. She's got a new outfit that is pretty decent in my opinion. And most importantly, I drew the hand that I forgot to line in the real drawing, and it looks even better this time. And I love the face shape, definitely a 10 out of 10. And this is how the drawings turned out. Okay, now we're sending the new version.
Here. I enjoyed drawing it and felt that this type of clothes would definitely suit her.
Oh, she looks so funny. I wonder what their reaction will be.
Your art style's so cute, I love it so much. The clothes really suits her well. Thank you so much for drawing her.
They replied a day later. I feel like they've been laughing all this time, but still they were so polite. It's now time for the real drawing.
No way. Did I just get deceived? Just Jack Sosaho. What the heck? You drew so good. I love it so much I'm actually crying. Thanks for drawing her, I really love it.
They're so funny.
I was gaping. Like what?
I like how they react. It's so funny.
Izaka, this really made my day, thank you so much, and have a nice day.
Here are all the drawings. Let me know in the comments which one you like more. It'd be interesting to know your guys' thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!